Hey everybody, it's Carrie. Today I want to talk about some of the questions that are at the root of jealousy. I just watched a wonderful video by Noah Elkreef on YouTube, and it was called something like How to Stop Being Jealous, and it was brilliant. So I want to talk about some of the things I just learned from him and some of the things that I've written down and noticed over the years too. He talks about jealousy and anxiety, and he makes the point, and I've always believed this, that jealousy is basically just anxiety, and it takes on in my life it has always manifested almost like an obsessive compulsive disorder. Like, I don't even know if I'd call it a disorder. It's like an obsessive thought, like a circular thought with no real solid answer. And that's what he was talking about. There's two types of anxiety in relationships, and he says the first is whether or not they love you, and the second one is whether they're going to leave you. So he starts by going into whether or not your partner loves you. He makes the point that proving whether someone loves you or not is impossible. You can't know for sure that somebody loves you. You can look for signs in their behavior or the things they say, or of course, if you find things that prove that they don't have your best interest at heart, like if you have proof or you catch them cheating on you, but you're never really going to find proof that they aren't cheating on you. Not real solid proof that rules out the fact that they ever have or ever will cheat on you, which is what a jealous sufferer is actually wanting, is absolute certainty that their partner loves them. And that just cannot be attained, and that ambivalence leaves them very anxious. And I have compassion for that. I understand it, and I think a lot more people than want to admit it have felt the same way. But he makes a great point that basically you can't ever know for sure if someone loves you, and really that's all based on the fact that you think that if they love you, you're going to feel lovable or good, or you're going to be able to tell yourself that you're worthy, or you're going to be able to tell yourself that other people now feel that you're worthy because you have a partner, or because your partner is beautiful, or because your partner is loyal to you. You're going to feel honored. But really, it's not so much that they are honoring you. It's that when they do certain things, you tell yourself you're honored. So you're not really feeling their love. You're feeling the stories you tell yourself. You get to tell yourself a story when he calls you or takes you on a date, or when she has sex with you, or whatever it is that your partner's doing that makes you feel loved. It's really just an action that you're taking to mean that you're loved. Then you take over and you start telling yourself that you're okay and you're loved. Once you realize that it's not their love that makes you feel loved, but the stories you tell yourself about their actions, behaviors, and words that make you feel loved, it takes some of the fear out of worrying whether or not that they love you. Because you start to realize, in one way it's a letdown, because as high as you go, as much emotion and as much high as you get out of maybe your partner being, very loving or touchy-feely, or taking you on an elaborate date or something like that, you may feel really loved after a great Valentine's date. But to the degree that you're feeling validated by their actions is to the degree that you would feel invalidated if they took those actions away. So the only real peace, sadly, that you're ever going to find from this roller coaster of wondering whether or not your partner loves you is really to step off of the high in the first place, is to find some other place to get your validation from. And when I say that, basically I mean realizing that I'm pretty sure, I haven't completely solved this part of it, but I'm thinking that it's basically the stories we tell ourselves that make us feel okay or not okay. So basically the only kind of real happiness, lots of people are in relationships, and are they happy? I'm sure they have moments of happiness, but I don't. And I've never thought, because I've been married twice, I've never thought that marriage held a real promise for happiness for anybody, or relationships either. I know that they have fun, they go out together, they do things together that feel good, and there's these moments. But the most happiness a relationship really offers you is distraction from your thoughts, negative thoughts, But it's no more happy than maybe being drunk or watching a good movie, or, it just has moments of happiness. And so, thinking that a relationship or a certain person is going to bring you happiness is a terrible mistake. It's not the end of the world. You can do it if you want to, but you may be in for some rude awakenings when you find out they can't make you happy. Even if you break up and you spend all your time thinking, if I just had them back, I'd be happy. You can get them back, and it won't take long before you realize, oh yeah, it's not that great. And it even makes you wonder, why was I wanting them back so bad? The day-to-day really isn't that glamorous, It's just, it is the stories we tell ourselves. Okay, so the second question at the root of jealousy is, will they leave me? It's just anxiety about them leaving you. Let's see. Well, I basically already kind of covered that, but basically, it's a two-part process, basically. In jealousy, we worry whether or not they love us, and that's just the unanswerable question. And then the second part is that we wonder if they'll leave us. And we worry that they'll leave us because we think that we'll, on some level, not be as happy if they leave. Happiness is basically our bottom line. We want to be happy more than we want to be with them. We just think that being with them will make us happy. So those are just some thoughts that Noah Elcreef had, and just a few things that I threw in there to just, just start thinking about whether or not jealousy is really, it's just a little bit misleading. It's just an anxiety thing. It's like, if you've ever heard of people that get obsessed, like people that are afraid to fly, or people that are afraid to cross a bridge, or, some people are afraid to go over those overpasses, And at the bottom of most of these kinds of circular thinking obsessions, like jealousy, there's usually something else being covered up by the anxiety. Like, if you have anxiety great enough about anything, it will distract you from what you really don't want to think about. Like, I know when I realized my marriage was not fun and I wasn't happy, instead of just dealing with the fact that I kind of made a pretty big mistake getting married, I became jealous, because worrying about him cheating on me took up all of my thoughts and my energy. And it didn't leave any time to think about if I had made this huge mistake or not. So it kind of like distracted me from the real problem, which is I made a mistake and I needed to make a U-turn, and I needed to get myself out of that mistake, and I needed to own my mistakes and grow and change, and it all just seemed so overwhelming. And also I didn't want to be the bad guy, and I didn't want to leave, and there was just so much involved in it, and it was so hard at the time to see that. Now it's much more clear to me. But so basically, I'm just going to leave it here. I'm going to leave this video kind of short, and you can post your comments below and let me know what some of your thoughts are. All right, I'll talk to you soon.